Hey, welcome back to The Art of a Life Well Lived. Christine Regan Lake here. It's good to be back and it's good to have you here. So, today I want to talk to you about sex. And today, what I really want to explore is your partner sexually selfish or are they sexually awkward, right? So, what is the difference between someone who is really just kind of self-absorbed and kind of selfish and all they care about is their needs and someone who may just be sexually awkward and they're uncomfortable and they feel very vulnerable. So, how do you know the difference and how can you move your relationship to greater levels of fulfillment in your sex life? Well, the first thing is, you know, foreplay, right? So I remember watching that movie with Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet, The Holiday. And Cameron Diaz is just meeting Graham, which is the Jude Law character. And they're flirting. He's just gotten to the little cottage. And he says something about foreplay. And she's like, I think it's overrated. And I remember thinking, oh my God, who wrote this? I'm like, how could someone think foreplay is overrated, right? But listen, everybody has a different level of sexual appetite. And so, some people may not want foreplay and they just want to go straight to the, getting down and dirty or whatever. But for me, I was horrified when I heard that. So foreplay for me is super uber duper important, right? Yeah. So if someone rushes through foreplay, they're either selfish because they don't care about, like taking things slow and all they want to do is just kind of get off, or they could be uncomfortable. Maybe they haven't had a lot of experience, or maybe they've just had, some negative experiences. Like no one, you don't really know someone's past, all their little, nuances of the experiences that they've had. So someone may not be selfish sexually, they may just be sexually awkward. And that's where having good communication and expressing what you truly want in your sexual relationship with your partner is so important, because if they truly care about you, they're going to want to hear what your needs are and they're going to want to be there for you. So if foreplay is important for you and your partner tends to rush through it, then maybe in a moment when you're not having sex, when you're just having a nice glass of wine out to dinner or something like that, bring up the subject and just say, hey, listen, I just wanted to share my thoughts with you. I really love foreplay and I've noticed that we tend to kind of rush through it quite a bit. And I would really love it if we could just take a little bit longer in foreplay, if we could really take the time to explore our bodies, intimately, slowly, playfully, have music and candlelight. Like the foreplay piece is really big to me, and it would really mean a lot to me if you could slow things down and if we could really make foreplay like its own whole thing. And just so you know, men out there, for a woman, our sexual organs are inside the body while yours is outside. It takes a woman longer to get heated up. She needs about a good 20 minutes to, have, sexual, touching and petting and caresses and kissing and things like that for her body to heat up enough. And the other thing is you always want to make sure that the woman comes first, because, it pretty much ends, ends the session when the man comes first, because, it it just does. So it's super important. I won't go into it in this video, it's not the right video for that, but there is a lot of science behind why women need to come first, other than the fact that usually it just ends in general because, gentlemen have spent their load and they're kind of exhausted and they're done, and now they have no interest in, going down and pleasuring her and things like that. So there's just a right hierarchy and an order that tends to work physiologically with the body. So that's good to know and it's good to follow. The second one is whether someone is sexually selfish or whether they're just sexually awkward is, does your pleasure matter to them? Do they really ask you and try to find out what you really like? Do you like it fast? Do you like it slow? Do you like it hard? Do you like it gentle? Do you like, how curious and interested and willing are they to really make sure that your pleasure is maximized, because that matters, right? And hopefully you're doing the same thing for them. You want to talk to them, and it's not anything to be embarrassed about. Everybody has different nuances. Everybody has different things that work for them. We're all individuals, and it's ridiculous to think that somebody should just automatically know what you like, especially, when you first become, intimate like that. How the hell are you supposed to know what they like? You've never been with them before. So it's important to communicate and ask your partners, like, what are their needs? What do they prefer? Things like that. So the third thing to consider is when you're trying to figure out, is my partner selfish or are they just a little sexually awkward and shy, is, are they willing to explore your fantasies with you? Is it all really just about what they want, or do they, are they open and wanting to hear what your fantasies are and to, help you, or not help you, but to, participate with you in the things that you sexually fantasize? And I'm obviously going to say here that as long as their sexual fantasies are in alignment with your values, if someone is asking you to violate your values sexually to meet their fantasies, well, that's a problem, right? And, for instance, like in my relationships throughout my life, I would flat out state, I don't do three-ways. If that's something you want, I'm not the person for you. I won't participate in it. You're never going to change my mind. It's not part of my value systems. And so, and I had no problem voicing that because I am who I am. I don't care how much I love someone. I'm never going to violate my values for them. Just so I can hold on to them. My values are who I am, and so that's, it's something to consider and something to, really take into account is, does this person care about my values? Do they care about, my fantasies of what I want? And are they willing to, grow with me sexually and experience this, as long as they're not asking you to violate your values? And then the fourth one is that they don't make time for sex, right? The reality is that sex is a strong barometer for a relationship, and if there's no sex happening, that is not a good barometer for that relationship. Sexual intimacy helps, bond you, helps bring you together, especially when it's done in a place of presence, in a place of love and compassion and respect and presence. And, when you honor that person, like, the sexual experience you have is going to be exponentially more powerful and connected and bonded if you love that person and you're totally present with them. And then sex becomes a sacred spiritual experience that brings you together and bonds you even deeper to each other. So those were just four of the signs that I wanted to talk to you today about with regard to if your partner is potentially sexually selfish or if they're sexually awkward. And when you bring up any of these issues, if you always want to do it with love, respect, and compassion, because you have no idea what someone's history is, what their past is, the wounds they bring to that situation. And you could potentially be treading on very sacred ground where there might have been deep wounding. So you always want to communicate with love, respect, and compassion when talking to your partner about how to bring the level of fulfillment and passion alive to a higher level in your relationship. Always, always respectful, loving, compassionate communication has to be the, just kind of like rule one for any and all discussions about this issue. So I hope you found value in that. Have a beautiful day, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.